Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk about my time in California, and this was back in the 70s. And to give you a little bit of a history class here. Let's see, well, I was about maybe 26, 27 years old, and this was the time when Patricia Hearst, the Weather Underground, they were blowing up places, kidnapping and killing people. And so it was a pretty wild place back at that time. And let's see, I had my wife, 2 kids, her sister and her son, and we were all there. We were all living there. And then we had you know, I'm an old country boy, so things are a little bit different for me. So you know, I see things a little different. And so right after we got there, we're driving down the freeway kind of thing, and it was a divided type of freeway. And so we're driving down that, and I look over on the left, and a gas station over there was being robbed. And so I pulled off to the side, and you know, I didn't want family to get hurt, so I dumped them all off on the side of the road. And then I crossed over the divider, and I come driving up there, and I had my window down, I had my gun in my hand, and I was honking my horn. And it was funny, when I was driving up there, you had the gas station attendant was shooting, the bad guy was shooting. They had a big old gunfight going on right in front of the station. And I'm driving up there, honking my horn, and the gas station guy, you know, he doesn't know me from nobody, and so he didn't know if I was one of the bad guys or what. So he stopped shooting and ran inside. The bad guy, he didn't know who I was either, so he just took off running around behind, and I drove on around. There was a residential area, and I drove around there. I didn't see anybody, no big deal. And then I came back up, and then when I came back up there, and this was my wife and family was there talking to the guy. You know, he was a Mexican guy, and Anna, my wife, was from Central America, so she could speak Spanish, and so she was calming the guy down, letting him know that her husband was a good guy and all this stuff. And then we just went on and left. You know, I just wanted to make sure. My whole thing was I didn't want him to get hurt, and so that was the end of that. And so. That was one thing. Now, don't forget, I was there for 1 year. 1 year. 1 year exactly, as a matter of fact. And then, and I was working at this real fancy Polynesian dinner house. And so it was, we had a lot of Chinese there, and you know, like I say, I'm half Chinese. I've been raised Chinese, so I understand the customs. And in China, no, not so much China, Hong Kong, they a lot of gang activity. And these gangs, you know, they don't have guns, so they cut people up. And so I was maitre d' at the restaurant. I would seat people, and you know, I could speak English and all this stuff. Well, some of the people in the kitchen came from Hong Kong, just right fresh off the boat. And these gangs, they're used to getting their ways, and what they do is they don't have guns, so they use knives, and so they cut people up, and that's what made them, they're feared in Hong Kong. I guess, but the problem is nobody told them that this is the United States, it's not Hong Kong. And so it was funny because they're over there, I'm in the place. Now there wasn't no business, this was in the afternoon, and there wasn't any business, we're getting things ready. And then next thing I know, bam, right out of the kitchen comes this Chinaman with a boning knife. You know, so, and then bam, I knocked him to the side, and it was there was another one right behind him, and another one right behind him. And the next one, he had a cleaver, Chinese cleaver. You seen those with the big old handle and big old blade? And one came out like that. So bam, I knocked him to the side, and bam, knocked the other one to the side, and disarmed him and knocked him to the side. And I'm thinking, what's going on? You know, what's the story here? And you gotta remember, I you know, I'm still a young man, you know, been in Vietnam, been doing fighting, so I already know how to fight. That's no big deal. So, but it was funny because now they're all laying on the ground, moaning and groaning and hurt and everything. And it come to find out, they said, well, they thought I was somebody else. And I guess they had a friend that they thought I was chasing his girlfriend or something, whatever it was. I don't know. And, but anyway, so it was a mistake. Mistake, all right. You know, I mean, man, that could have hurt me. So I had, after that, I had to change my attitude. And so knives, you know, I'm not scared of knives, but I say now, if somebody pulls a knife on me, I got a whole different attitude than I used to. I used to be nice. Now as I got older, I'm not near so nice. If somebody tries to kill me now, I get pretty nasty. But anyway, so that was one thing. And then I started working for Pizza Hut, and so working for Pizza Hut, and we had this one of the stores, and my wife and I was running the store. And it was I think it was a Friday night. The place was packed. I mean, every table was full. And then the door opened. I saw a guy there with a ski mask on. People don't run around with ski masks, you know, so I already knew it was going to be a robbery. And so then he come up and he had this trench coat on, you know, long coat. And then he opened the coat and he pulled out this shotgun, sawed-off shotgun. Whammo, I hit it, knocked it up in the air, and then I whacked him. And then I remembered Pizza Hut's policy was give them the money. And I thought, oh man, I messed up. I was supposed to give him the money, you know. So, and so then here, this guy's still, he's stunned from when I whacked him. And I'm holding him up, and then pretty soon the door opened, and another guy with a ski mask. And it was his partner. And now he wasn't armed. And so just let the guy get his senses back. I gave him back his gun, and then we went around the counter. He had me lay on the floor, and he kept poking my feet, you know, where's the rest of the money, and, you know, and all this kind of stuff, you know. And it was funny because the place was packed, and everybody was watching like it was some kind of a stage show, you know. I mean, it was really, really weird. And I guess it's, at the time, I didn't know. Now I'm a little older, wiser, and it's the mentality of some folk, you know, they're just cattle, and they just kind of go along with things. Even though something is wrong, they don't have the gumption to do anything about it. And so these kind of people have been around for some time. But anyway, so they all just sat there eating their pizza and watching the show. And then as they were going out, they went out the back door, and they used the gun. They poked my wife in the ribs with the gun, and oh, it scared her bad. And for years it scared her. It wasn't until, it took about 10 years, maybe 12 years, and then finally, she was always scared of the dark, and you know, we've always owned businesses, so when it started getting dark, she really got scared that bad guys were going to come in and all this kind of stuff. So it really affected her until I finally got her on how to use the gun. And then after she understood how a gun works and all this stuff, and she had a gun, and then it made things different then. So, but anyway, they went out the door, and then I went back there, checked my wife. She was okay. I hit the main breaker. All the lights went out, and we had a chain link fence going along the back, and they just had a gate there, and it was an alley, and you could hear him hitting that fence. And but anyway, they went out the back door. I ran out the front door to get to my truck, because another policy was no guns are allowed in the stores. So my gun was in my truck, so I had to get out to my truck, and that's when I heard them climbing over the fence. And so I got my gun, I ran down the street, in front of the street, well, they're going down the alley. I ran way down there, and I stopped, and I got my gun out all ready, and they didn't come by. They went the other way. So didn't have to shoot nobody or nothing. And what I learned about that was policy. And every company's got a policy on how to handle stuff and stuff like that. And then what I learned was their policy was to protect the company, not protect me. So I guess I'm a little smarter than most, so I decided I'm going to start my own policy. And so that was the one and only time I've ever been robbed. And but anyway, after that, my wife says maybe California isn't the kind of place we should be. So we came back, but at that time we lived in Kansas. We came back to Kansas. So, but anyway, I wanted to share a little story about the old days in California. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.